ashes burn in the snow, the night it's our turn.
But
I'll get you next time, Jedi. And your little droids, too.
What's up, Star Wars Unlimited fans? It's Loopee here at Late Night Gaming, and I'm here with two of my teammates for our spoiler video and more. So how are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Great.
So both Mcbober and Solo are longtime members of Late Night, and we're all jazzed because we got 3 different spoilers to go through today, and a leader was just spoiled a second ago, so we have, by Fantasy Flight, so we have the ability to actually do a little content that's competitive with our spoiler videos. So let's get at it. So here's the leader that Fantasy Flight just dropped, who was one of my favorite leaders from Destiny. And what does she do in Star Wars Unlimited?
Yeah, we got Mother Talzin here. She's a vigilance villainy leader who deploys on 5 resources, and she has the ability action, exhaust this leader and use the force to give a unit -1/-1 for this phase. And on her deployed side, she's got 3 attack, 7 health, and on attack, you may give a unit -1/-1 for this phase.
All right, Solo, what are your initial thoughts on Talzin?
Ladies and gentlemen, we might finally have a legitimate villain force deck where some of the force payoff cards that we've been waiting for, like Force Lightning, could actually see some competitive play even. What a lot of these cards have been missing a lot has been a leader that sticks. Kylo, too low health, and Vader, too long to get out, and Grand Inquisitor, in my opinion, is a meme. So Mother Talzin has a chance to really enter into the meta as a real sticky unit with a premium stat line coming out on 5 as a 3/7.
Yeah, and my first reaction to this when I saw the spoiler was that that's Quinlan's stats. And Quinlan's a very good leader at 3/7. I think she has a useful leader side and a pretty good on attack. I think the on attack is excellent with not having to have a condition for it. But what everybody wants to know is Mcbober's thoughts, because he's been killing it with these spoiler reviews in his first takes.
Oh, I think you guys pretty much nailed it there, right? Like, she fills a very similar role to Quinlan, but for blue villain here, where she makes guys a little bit weaker, helps give you more reach to take out the enemy forces, and hopefully, even in her leader form, you have to spend the force, but with a lot of force units in her deck, hopefully that can help you get some value trades by making guys a little weaker, a little easier to kill, and your guys can kill them and hopefully survive the attacks.
Yeah, and I mean, she's almost certainly going to be on the force base, which whatever you do, I would think. All right, so here's our first spoiler. Soresu Stance.
All right, we got Soresu Stance. It's a 1-cost vigilance event with the ability play a force unit from your hand and give a shield token to it.
So I'll start with this one because I was the one person that played Moment of Peace competitively in set 1. I mean, it's Moment of Peace with some action economy and a condition of force. And that can be good. I mean, we're seeing decks like Gar, really use shields very well. There's Lando decks that use shields well. So it's pretty cool. What do you think, Solo?
It definitely being able to spam this with some good force units that have a good win and plate ability is definitely going to take this card to higher heights. But how important that shield is going to be is going to determine how good this card is. So I mean, it's cool, but it's going to take some creative deck building. But also, man, deck space, right? Like, there's only so many cards you can put in a deck, and it's like, is this going to be worth the slot? I could always see somebody when they have to make, as deck builders, you got to make cuts, and it seems like one of those cards where you're just painfully cutting every time.
Mcbobber?
Yeah, I think it's kind of niche. It feels a similar role to Moment of Peace, but you get some action compression because you don't have to, wait a whole action to give your guy the shield. You can get that shield immediately, but it is limited to a force unit, so it'll probably depend on if you really got one guy you're trying to protect.
All right. Nightsister Warrior, our second spoiler.
Yes, Nightsister Warrior is a 2-cost vigilance unit with 2 attack, 2 health, and when defeated, draw a card.
Solo?
Well, we do have a similar card to this. It's that ship. I think it's a 3-cost that does the same exact thing. When it's defeated, you can draw a card.
When you have initiative.
So
Yep.
when you have initiative. Okay, so this is a cheaper version of that. That's on the ground with only condition being defeated. So it depending on maybe something that could enable spamming this could actually be good. Like, people play Dr. Pershing to draw cards. I could see this possibly going in Pal Blue if they want more card draw. Maybe they want to draw 2 cards because they can ping, kill it, and then draw a card and draw another card. So that could be a place. But, spamming this ability is going to be the most important. But also, just catching this, it's a force unit. Turn 1 force unit.
Mcbobber?
Yeah, I think that's all these Night Sisters are going to be force units. So there's definitely a theme here going with Talzin of if you're playing the new bases, you need to use force units to gain the force, and then she can then spend them to do that -1/-1. So it all kind of chains together. I think you'd mostly play this card for the traits. Otherwise, yeah, it's okay. Drawing a card's not bad, but the stats are a little below curve from what I would want. So
Yeah,
I think it's
the
there to
only
get a cheap force
2
unit.
leaders that
Yeah.
consider it are probably Talzin and Thrawn, because Thrawn can potentially double it. And I mean, it's not strong, but potentially it attacks. It's better if you're on the play because then you can attack with it. And if you get a kill and you enable force and you draw a card, you're happy. Old Daka.
All right, up next, we got Old Daka. 5-cost, vigilance, villainy, 6 attack, 6 health. When played, you may defeat a friendly knight unit not named Old Daka. Then you may play that unit from your discard pile for free.
Yeah, so I'll start with this one. I mean, it's overstated. 6/6 for 5 is Podameron stats. That's good. That's what you want. It's force, it's knight. The when played is interesting. I mean, it either can trigger a when played or when defeated, essentially, because it happens right away. It doesn't matter what it is. If you get something that is when played or when defeated and is also knight, that doesn't hurt you, like one card that does exist, I think that this could be really strong. It's yet to see whether there's anything more coming to work with this. I mean, it's always going to be fine as a 6/6 on 5 for stats, but if the when played is also very strong, now you're business. So,
Yeah, the Night Sister payoff is gonna definitely be important to the ceiling of this card. But the floor of this card, like, I mean, sometimes just simply, maybe you have a valuable unit, your opponent wasted some actions trying to kill it, and you kill it for them, and then replay it for free, and that's basically healing it. So I think that's, as a floor, that can be something to consider. But um, the thing you're gonna want with Old Daka and what you guys are gonna be looking for as more cards are spoiled is cards that have when played and when defeated effects. If they have both of those, this is when Old Daka starts to do silly things.
Bobber?
Yeah, I kind of feel like she's got the good stats for her cost, but yeah, we need some good other knight cards that have some really strong when played or when defeated abilities to really synergize here. Like, we've got some that are pretty decent, but nothing too crazy here to double up on.
Right. And we know she's a witch because she weighs the same as a duck. All right, we're going to actually.
For those who know, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. That's true. All right. We're going to go through a couple of other synergized cards before we get to the deck list. And this is going to count as the 2-card review. So hit us, Caris McWabber.
Well, usually I have things a little bit more prepped for a 2-card review, but for Caris here, she's a 2-cost vigilance villain unit with 2 attack, 4 health. When defeated, you may use the force. If you do, give a unit -2/-2 for this phase.
Yeah, she's decent. I mean, a 2/4 for 2 is fine. I mean, that's an okay stat line if that is a good thing. The when defeated, I mean, potentially she can 2 for 1, right? If she can get a kill with the when defeated and the attack, I mean, that's the dream, and you've probably just really helped yourself out. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Mcbober, I mean, if she attacks, she makes the force token and then could use it if she dies, right?
That's correct. Assuming you have the new bases.
Yeah, you have to have the 28 health base. Solo?
Yeah, I mean, so at first glance, this seems like a sticky unit, right? It's a 2/4 for 2. You got the force trait, so that's good. Unfortunately, like I mean, the when defeat is good, so that's the thing. But like, there's so many decks right now that just like 4 health has like been the bane of like a lot of people's existence when you're playing Cad or Quinlan. So and other Tarkin Town decks. So like, still it leaves a lot to be desired, but you know, it does have some upside to where some of those units could just die because of if you're playing Talzin, you can do Caris. If they die, then -2/-2, and then Talzin could finish them off if she has the force. But that's the thing. Do you even get the force turn 1? I don't think so. So maybe you have to have something that gives it to you. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Mcbober?
Yeah, I think she's fine. 2-cost, 2/4s, pretty decent stats for turn 1, and if you could enable her ability, it gives you even a little bit more.
And there's a lot of really strong units, primarily in yellow, that are 2 health with shields. Crafty, L3,
Right.
7th of Flender, list goes on. I mean, if you're getting one of those, you know, and also getting something with her attack, I mean, at that point, it's starting to feel really good, I think.
Yeah.
All right, similar, Talzin's Assassin.
Yeah, Talzin's Assassin is a 4-cost vigilance villainy unit with 4 attack, 4 health. When played, you may use the force. If you do, give a unit -3/-3 for this phase.
I'll start with this one. So I think this is significantly better than the last card because it's when played as opposed to when defeated. And it's a when played that has a relatively simple condition if you are deck building for it. I mean, you just need to attack with basically any of your ground units because there's going to be enough force units to do all force units in set 5 for sure. So I kind of like it. You know, I've played enough Luke Skywalker to know that the -3/-3 can be very crucial even late in games because the units have been hitting each other. Mcbober?
Yeah, I think this is pretty solid. I like that you can hit a space unit. A lot of those space units have 3 health. You can maybe wipe something out there to help you catch up. It doesn't seem that hard to get the force, so I think this will be a decent card in pretty much any of these force.
Solo?
I might have to make a shot statement, but this could be a K2 level card. You know, K2 has been a popular rare for a long time. It's a 4/4 for 4. And so this, however, has a win played instead of just sitting there and getting blown out by Waylay. So at the very least, you get something for the effort you put into playing a 4/4, which is good. 4/4 good stats, and it combos well with Talzin. You know, if you have the force, this is really a -4/-4 with Talzin's ability. And then, you know, this also fits into the curve with Old Daka. So You play her on third to 4 resource turn, do the -3/-3, do your thing. Then to next turn, if they haven't dealt with it, swing, and then you play Old Daka, and then -3/-3, and then you use the force to use Talzin's ability, flip Talzin, and that's a -5/-5 after she swings. A lot of actions, but hey, if you need the -5/-5 something, that's how you do it, folks.
Mcbober?
I already talked about this one. We're good.
All right, we're good. All right, so this is the deck list that we came up with, and I can tell you that my original intent with this was to put all the cards that said Knight on them in a deck and then call it a day, and my teammates would not let me. So we actually talked for about a half hour before this, and we optimized it and we made it better by cutting some cards that probably are too tricky. I guess the one thing that cut, there's the Savage Oppressed from this set that we cut, because if you don't have the force, he does 9 damage to your base when he's played and then when defeated. Extremely risky. Maybe there's something that actually fixes that and makes it good. You know, it would have to like turn the bad into good, but I think otherwise the Dooku's are better. But
I think Dr. Everzon wants to have a word with you.
no, that's
Where's
actually
the
a very good
fix for
analogy.
him?
But so we'll talk about the list in a second, but what we're going to do with this is, I mean, maybe we're practicing, you know, as you do testing. I mean, it's obviously too early to make any statements about what's good or bad for set 5 until we see all the cards that are definitive. But you got to test. I think every CCG team does this. What we're going to do is we're going to come back at you with a Talzin deck, you know, around release, and we'll see what changes from here. But it's obviously a force themed deck that has some removal, and I think all of us, you know, had some input to it. What excites you about this solo?
Force payoff, right? Like any force payoff deck, you need to have a good force leader. And I think just for the fact that Talzin's a 3/7 in a good color is just a good foundation for what you're looking for. So as more sports cards are spoiled, it's good. I do like the list, the change we made to the list, a little more control-y. You can push some damage. There's some burst potential. You got the minusing things to deal with problems, whether in space or on the ground. So I think it's a good starting point for people that want to take this and get some reps in and see with what you have, what tweaks you can make to highlight this.
Robert?
Yeah, you know, we'll get some better cards for this, I'm sure, that we can add in here and augment this. But as it stands, I think we've got a pretty decent little force unit package here to try to give us the force. And then, of course, we got force throw, force lightning to give us some of that payoff for all of our force units as well. Just doubling up on some of that value. And Fallen Lightsaber fits in there as well. But mostly, I like the new Darth Tyrannus unit. I think he's really good. So, yeah, any chance to use that guy, I'm happy.
Yeah, so the theme, Nando, is kind of amusing here because we have Darth Tyrannus, who is Dooku, and then both of the Count Dookus, because both of those are pretty good units. I mean, Dooku unit is kind of like takedown on a stick with a shield, and then the other Dooku can be exploited, which is good, given the when defeateds. But Dooku actually committed genocide to the Nightsisters, is what happened, you know, at points. So it's kind of amusing that he makes a theme here. So, and by the time you're watching this, we should have this link up in our Discord in the description. Come hang out on late night. We're actually closing on 1,000 people that are talking SWU every day here, and we'll also publish this list on SWUDB as soon as we can. So if you liked our video, please give us a like, subscribe. That helps us out a lot. We got a bunch of coverage coming up. Any final thoughts from you guys?
This list is the beginning of our campaign to get Force Throw banned. Force Throw, I expect to become TDR level of absurd. People have not experienced it yet because there's not been enough Force decks. And once people realize they cannot just kill all the Force units, like, oh, Yoda's dead, and oh, quit this and that. And it's like, no, Force unit, Force unit, Force unit. Yeah, Force Throw is going to be making people cry. So this is the beginning of that.
McWabber.
I'll just leave us with thanks for watching, everyone.
And if you watched this far, you're my hero. Please don't ban my favorite card, FFG. Please don't. We're
Ban it.